What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Litecoin. Right now we're sitting at $128. We're up about 3%. And what I want to do before we get into any of the technical analysis, I wanted to ask you two questions. Number one, what percentage of your portfolio do you have in Litecoin? If you could put that down low. And also, what is your year-end prediction for Litecoin? You guys are always very accurate. You know, we were doing the Ethereum as well last time we took the poll, and I asked, will we hit $1,000 for Ethereum by Christmas? And I believe it was about 70% of the people said no, we would not. And we did not end up hitting that, but we did end up holding higher than $500. That was the other question. But you guys really do well. You see a lot of the things that I see. You've been learning a lot along with me, and I'd love to hear your opinion on what percentage of your portfolio is in Litecoin and also what's your year-end prediction for Litecoin. And in my opinion, not financial advice, I do believe Litecoin this year will be challenging the previous all-time highs, and if we can get up above that and have blue sky breakouts, anything can happen. You know, Litecoin's an oscillator of Bitcoin. When Bitcoin really runs hard, it brings Litecoin along with it. So that's one coin, you know, Litecoin, that I always want to pay attention to, and it's a great one to trade. So let me know down low, and we're going to get into all this technical analysis. Hope you guys have a wonderful new year. It's awesome to be here with you, and let's hope that 2021 is this altcoin bull market and things can get really crazy for us, because I know a lot of people on my channel and in this space hold a lot of altcoins. They're not so much into Bitcoin, they're more so into altcoins, and I can understand that greatly for the percentage gains that you're looking at. I understand that 100%. So let's dig into this, guys. If you get something from this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let's do this. So what we're looking here is Litecoin on the 1-day time frame. And what I wanted to point out here, if we really step back, the last time we got up to around $145, we'll call it about $146, that was June 21st, 2019. And that's when we had that little altcoin cycle here, but it was just one of those fake outs. It wasn't a long-term bull market. And you can see after that, we just had that grizzly bear market right after that as well. So this area up here, this is going to be a tough spot to get up through, and this is where it's going to take a lot of volume. And that area is going to be at $135. It's going to be first overhead resistance, and then it's going to be up around $142. Now, if we're able to get up above both of those, then we have a pretty clean shot almost to $182, just the way the resistance breaks down. That major resistance would next be up around, in my opinion, that 150, and then that 182 would be the areas that I'd look at if we get a nice strong move to the upside. Main area for support that I'm looking at here on the 1-day time frame is $123.43. I set an alert right in this area because basically once we came up here and we hit roughly about that 145 right in that range, we came back down as low as $119, and that's what I want to see defended. That was our previous high that we broke up through. You want that to become support, so that's a key area for us. If we start dropping down through that area, I'm going to look to the 20 EMA, and that's going to be at $113. About $114 would be the support area. Typically in our uptrends, most of the time we're going to stay up above that 20 on the 1-day time frame and up above that 50. You can see when we get these retracements, many times it's back to this 50 EMA here in pink. You can see the bullish engulfing candle right here, and then that kicked it off for us. So if we did start to come back down to that area, that 50 EMA, that could be all the way back down to $95.74. If that took place, I believe that would be an amazing buying opportunity. If we do get down to that area, then it'd be right around this previous resistance that we had that we'd want to turn support at 91.48. And as we know many times in this space, the retracements when you're in an uptrend or the corrections don't last very long. So right here we had the doji candle, and then we had about 3 days to the downside before we got moving again. Then we had about 10 days to the downside before we got moving again. Then we had about 5 days. And what we're looking at up here, you can see all these long wicks. We had a lot of profit taking here, so we're waiting to see if this is just going to be consolidation where we move sideways and we get that next kick up, or if this is where we move sideways and we need to drop down and test some lower support areas because we have all this selling pressure right up here around $135. Now with Litecoin, guys, what I like to do is take this price action 1 day at a time. You know, a lot of people will put videos out there, Litecoin going to $5,000 to get everyone's endorphins going. You don't want to live like that, waking up every day hoping and praying that, you know, Litecoin's going to go to $5,000 a day. Take it 1 day at a time, learn technical analysis, and just slowly accumulate the coins that you want to be in for this longer term altcoin cycle. That's the number one thing I can tell you. Okay, you have to be patient with this. And the faster that riches come, the quicker they will go away. You need to learn this stuff and be able to manage once you do get those major gains. That's what's really going to help you out in this space as well, because, you know, a lot of people can make the money quick and then they don't understand what to do with it, or how to trade, or when to take profits, or when to buy back in. So that's the type of stuff that I want to teach people here on my channel. So what we're looking at now, you can see we have these long wicks right up here around that 135. RSI right now, we're actually having a little bit of negative divergence. So price was making higher highs, and then we're actually having lower highs here on the 1-day RSI. We're at 64, but at 64, we have plenty of room to move to the upside here. Does that make sense? Even if we just consolidate, we've cooled down enough. We're not up in the 80s as we try to attempt that 145, breaking up through that. So that's where it's just a sticky spot. Are we just going to consolidate sideways, get that next kick, or are we actually going to get one of those deeper retracements? And that's what I'm paying attention to right now. So if I were you, I would put an alert or an alarm here at about 119.28. If we go down below that, I want to be alerted, so that I know I can start looking down into this area for some potential nice buying opportunities. Now, if we look at the stock here, it's at 61 and 65, kind of the same deal, lower highs on that as well as we were making higher highs. So that's something that you always want to pay attention to. And as we work through the indicators here, I want to take off the stock. We're going to take a look at the awesome oscillator, and we're just going to work our way through this. So you can see with the longer wicks up here, how the histogram's starting to tick red a little bit. So this is where we just want to be careful. We want to look to see if we're going to get that nice retracement. Next, we want to take a look at the Bollinger Bands. We're up more towards the top of the Bollinger Bands. You can see the wicks at the top of this. The middle band would be all the way back to around $111. So that's definitely a spot we want to pay attention to. Many times in uptrends, we'll get pulled back onto that middle band. Then let's take a look at a few more here. We'll take a look at the MACD. MACD, we potentially could get a cross to the downside here, so we want to be aware of that. We have not gotten that yet, so it's not been confirmed. And sometimes you can just go down, you can touch that line, and then you can get moving again. So it hasn't been confirmed, but the histogram is moving to the downside, and we're starting to get a little hook there, as well as having that negative divergence on the 1-day time frame. So that's why I would be so careful about that 119, because if we drop below that, then we may be able to look at some lower areas, even around that $100. Right in that range would be a nice sweet spot for us. Next, what I want to do is go into the technicals. If we get into the technicals for Litecoin, on the 1-day time frame, we have a 2 sell, 10 neutral, 16 buy. Moving average is looking good because we're up above all of them right here. Besides the simple moving average on the 5, oscillator 0 sell, 9 neutral, and a 2 buy. And you know, this isn't financial advice, but what I would suggest is if you're a longer term investor, this is where you just want to continue to ride. And if you get those big corrections, that's when you want to add. You know what I'm saying? If you're a swing trader, that's when it's a little bit different, and sometimes you want to capitalize on those shorter term moves. When you get those nice retracements, you know, you really want to do some swing trading up in that area. But you know, for Litecoin, guys, I don't want to make this too long, but for Litecoin, you know, the fact that it's between that number 4 and number 5 spot, this has been a coin that's been around for a long time, and the fact that it's been able to stay in the top 10 and now even in the top 5, you know, you can't discount Litecoin. And that's my opinion. I started my channel on Litecoin. I'm always going to support Litecoin. I love Litecoin. And if you guys do as well, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, watch these areas. God bless each and every one of you. Have an amazing new year.